He is the real master who can reveal the form of the formless to the vision of these eyes. Now, if the real master is the basic thing to search and seek for, then of course a definition is needed. Who is the real master? Whom to call the real master? How to know? Kabir says, he is the real master who can reveal the form of the formless to the vision of these eyes, in whose presence the formless descends and becomes a presence, through whom you can have a look of the farthest star, through whom you can have a feel of God Himself, through whose words silence speaks, and through whose eyes the infinite peeks at you, looks at you. And if you hold His hand, you will suddenly see the hand is His, but not only His. God is holding your hand through Him. He is a vehicle, a bamboo flute on the lips of the infinite. He gives form to the formless. He is the embodiment of the formless. You have to be very open and vulnerable. Only then you will be able to feel a master. Don't go to a master with a negative attitude, otherwise you will never reach him. The very negative attitude will not allow his vibe to reach you. The negative attitude will not allow you to move into the same wavelength in which he lives. Hence, trust is needed. Hence, love is needed. Otherwise, you will go empty and you will come empty. And when you will come empty, you will say that this is not the real master. I went empty and I have come empty. If you are not open, you will come empty. If you are open only, there is a possibility to feel. And don't be afraid of openness. If you are open and the master is not real, nothing will happen. And you will know it. And you will know it certainly. That this is not for you. That this is not the man you are seeking. But be open. Because if you are open only, then you can know whether he is true or not. If you are closed, already closed, then there is no possibility. In fact, if you are closed, sooner or later, you will become a victim of somebody who is a pseudo-master. Because pseudo-masters try to convince you argumentatively. The real masters are very paradoxical, very contradictory. They are as contradictory as life itself because they embody life. They are as inconsistent as God Himself because they embody God. They are not logical, they are very illogical because they are super logical. Because they are bringing something which cannot be grasped through logic. In the closeness of a real master, you will feel you are close to an abyss. But if you are open, only then. If you are not open, you will become a victim to some pseudo person who can convince you, who can talk you in, who can seduce you in. For example, if you are greedy, he will talk about greed. He will tell you how much you are going to gain out of the meditation, the prayer. He will persuade your greed that how much you are going to have in heaven if you follow him. He will promise you much. A true master never promises anything. In fact, he shatters you completely. Your greed, your desire, your idea of becoming somebody, being somebody. He settles all in all. A real master is a rock against which your boat is completely settled. Your whole mind is settled. He drives you crazy. He does not argue. His argument is more of his being than of his words. But we are greedy. We live through greed. We are afraid, full of fear. Somebody gives us consolation. We become victims. A real master is not a consolation. He is not a solace. He is in fact death to you. He kills you. He destroys you. He is very destructive. But creativity is possible only when the old is destroyed. When the old ceases to be, the new can enter in. I have heard a beautiful anecdote. Meditate over it. The letter from Sean to his old mother was heartening. Dear mother, he wrote, I am sending you some pills that a witch doctor gave me, and if you take one of it, it will take years off your life. He came home a few weeks later, and there was a beautiful young woman outside his house, rocking a pram in which a baby lay, sucking a bottle. Where is me mother? He asked. Arah, don't be silly, she said. I am your mother. And them pills were marvelous. Imagine, said Son, one pill and you are as beautiful as anyone could be. And what is more, you were able to have a baby, Lord, but they were powerful. You, Amadan, she cried, that is not a baby, that is your father. He took two. Avoid greed. Otherwise you will take two pills. And there are many people who are selling things like that. Witch doctors. A master is not here to fulfill your greed. He is here to destroy your greed. Because once greed is destroyed, you become available to yourself. If you are greedy, you are never available to yourself. Greed becomes desire. Desire becomes a projection in the future. And you are always wandering somewhere in the future. You are never here now. Greed takes you away from yourself. Greed has to be destroyed. A master never promises you anything. But only in the presence of a master something becomes possible. He will not tell you that I will take death away from you or you will become immortal. He is not giving you nectar, elixir, ambrosia. Of course, being with a master, one becomes immortal. But not that he makes you immortal. He simply takes you deep into the experience of death. Just look at it. He takes you deep into the experience of death. That is what deep meditation is all about. A death experience. And when you have known your death, watched it, suddenly you realize you are separate from it. It happens, but it never happens to you. It happens on the periphery, it never reaches to the center. It happens to the body, it never happens to you. And the body is nothing but your abode. You have changed many bodies and you will change many more. But you are immortal. But a real master does not promise it. He delivers it one day, but there is no promise for it. If you are seeking some state where fear will dissolve, some state where your greed will be fulfilled, some state where you will be titillated constantly with pleasure, paradise, then you are bound to become a victim of some pseudo person. Sadguru means the real master. Asadguru means the pseudo master. He is the real master who can reveal the form of the formless to the vision of these eyes, who teaches the simple way of attaining him. Simple way, not complex methods, not yoga postures, not very complicated rituals. He teaches simple ways, very simple, that anybody who wants to do it can do it right now. His ways are so simple and spontaneous that you will be surprised why you did not discover them yourself. They are so simple. Once the master has taught you, once you have known the beauty of them, once you have tasted a little, you will be simply surprised why you could not discover them. They are so simple. The real master is not technical. He is simple. Because there is no technique to achieve God. God is not somewhere at the end of a technique. No. God is already available to you. You are in God. Just you have to shake yourself a little so that you can become a little more alert. Just a little more alertness, that's all. Sometimes you become alert too. But you become alert also in a very unconscious way. You are driving a car and suddenly you see that a bus is coming and the driver seems to be drunk or mad. And you see no possibility avoiding the accident. The accident is going to be. It becomes almost a certainty. In that moment you become alert, very, very alert. But that alertness is unconscious. You are alert, but you are not alert that you are alert. In some dangerous situation, you become alert, but that alertness is unconscious. A master simply teaches you how to be alert with full consciousness. He teaches you conscious awareness. Now you may be a little puzzled because conscious awareness, you think consciousness means awareness, awareness means consciousness. No. There are moments when you are aware but not conscious. If somebody comes suddenly with a pistol in his hand and forces the pistol on your chest, you will be aware but not conscious. Thinking will stop. The shock is so sudden, so unexpectedly sudden, and you cannot figure it out what is going to happen. And death is so close. In that shock, your mind stops. Your constant spinning mind spins no more. Your constant chattering mind is simply shocked to silence. You become aware. But this awareness is unconscious. The master teaches only one thing: how to be consciously aware. And that's a very simple thing. You can start doing it any moment. You can apply awareness, consciousness to any activity that you go on doing. If you are walking on the road, just walk consciously. Take each step in deep alertness. listening to me? Right now, listen attentively. You are listening attentively, but that attention may be unconscious. Become conscious of the attentiveness, and suddenly you will see a tremendous blessing descends in you. Out of nowhere, suddenly it is there. Just a moment of conscious alertness, and your doors open. And God enters in, as if He was just waiting there on the door, knocking and knocking and knocking. But you are so much preoccupied. Kabir says, who teaches the simple way of attaining Him? People who teach complex ways simply so that they have not known God. Because God needs no expertise. And people who teach complex ways have a reason to teach complex ways. So that they always can say to you, if you are not doing the thing rightly, how can you hope to attain? Have you heard a beautiful story of Khalil Gibran? A man used to move town to town. He was a great teacher. And he used to say to people that come and follow me and I will show you the way to God. But people were engaged. They had so many thousands of things to do. Then they will say that we worship you, we respect you. And one day we are coming to follow you, but right now it is difficult. Nobody is ready right now. That's why so many pseudo-masters can exist. Saint Augustine in his confession says that I used to pray to God when I was young. God, save me, but not right now. Save me, but not right now. Because I was indulging in so many things, he says, and I wanted to enjoy all that is available. So this was not to be heard immediately. I was saying the prayer because it has to be said formally. But I will always say, save me, Lord, but not right now. So this preacher went town to town and people will say, not right now, we will come one day. And he was very happy because nobody ever followed him and there was no trouble. A madman one day said, okay, I am coming. He became a little afraid, but he said, he was a very clever and cunning man. He said, come. And he will give him such complex procedures which are almost impossible to do. But the man was really mad. He will do them. And even this teacher could not find any fault. And the man continued. The teacher was thinking he will get fed up sooner or later. 1 year passed. 2 years passed. And he will say when the disciple was too much. And he will ask again and again, now what else to do? And he was doing everything. Even the master became afraid that now he cannot think what else to say to him to do. And he is doing everything. 6 years passed. And one day the disciple said, how long it is still? I am ready to do anything, but you are not giving me anything. He said, listen, the truth is, in your company I have lost my own way. I used to know where he is, but since you have come, you just have mercy on me and leave me. Complex procedures have been invented by cunning people. First, nobody is ready to do them. Good. The pseudo-master can exist. Because never his techniques will be put to any experimentation. Second, if somebody tries to do it, they are so complex. Always it can be said that you are not doing rightly. They are so complex that you cannot trust yourself and you are always afraid that something may go wrong. But a real master will give you very simple techniques that anybody of average intelligence, of average health can do them. Who teaches the simple way of attaining Him that is other than rites or ceremonies. He never teaches you rituals, rites and ceremonies. He may teach you celebration, but never ceremonies. Celebration is of the heart, and ceremony is just a ritual of the mind. Who does not make you close the doors and hold the breath and renounce the world? The real master is all for the world, because this world is a manifestation of God. This world is full of God. Every rock is so crowded with God, and every tree and every bird and all that exists is so full, overflowing with God. Where to go and for what? Whom to renounce and for what? And how one can renounce? Because wherever you are in God. And wherever you are in this world. Because there is no other world.